Stress versus burnout. How can you tell the difference? Hi, I'm Dr. Buzz, your stress doctor. Stress is when your hormones are ramping up. Burnout is when your battery is depleted. When people are stressed, they are aimlessly running around, feeling frantic. When people are burned out, they don't have the energy to do anything. Stress, you feel anxious and overwhelmed. Burnout, you feel completely depleted. What are the signs of stress? Well, you know you're stressed, first of all, when you start finding yourself not being able to sleep at night. When your stress hormones go up, your ability to fall asleep comes down. Number two, you wake up in the middle of the night, typically between 2:30 and 4 o'clock a.m. for no reason and can't seem to fall back asleep. Third, you don't feel like you had restful sleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you're still tired, lethargic, and you feel like you could sleep for another couple hours. Next, through the day, you start feeling like you could take a nap. But while you're feeling like you're tired and lethargic, you also feel ramped up and anxious. Another sign that you're stressed, you start craving bad foods. Foods that have lots of carbs, sugar, or even replacement sugars. You find yourself overreacting to situations, things that really don't matter. So whereas you might have a frustration tolerance for most things, when you're stressed, you have a frustration tolerance that doesn't exist. Your focus is affected when you're suffering stress. You're either hypervigilant and dialing in on details like laser point, or you're the opposite. You can't focus on anything because your mind is running around worrying and anxious. One of the most relatable details that people know when they're stressed is called tired and wired. Your brain is exhausted and it's tired, but then you lay in bed and it's wired and it's only thinking and ruminating about what is bothering you or what you can't control. How do you know when you're burned out? One of the telltale signs about being burned out is when your body is depleted of energy. So instead of getting up in the morning, which is when your cortisol levels are the highest, which means you should have the most energy, it's actually the opposite. You feel really tired, you feel exhausted, you don't feel like doing anything. Mental energy is depleted. You really can't think. It's very hard to read the paper or something even short. And lastly, you find very little interest in doing things that you used to love. You're either voraciously hungry or you have no appetite at all. Some people tend to put on a lot of weight when they're burned out. Some people lose tons of weight. Lastly, you don't have the emotional stamina to troubleshoot issues, problems, or to talk about decisions that you should be making even when they're basic. Most people, when they're burned out, they'll bail on those decisions or they'll overreact when they're forced to talk about it. If you want to learn more about managing your stress, subscribe to my channel.